Raise your hand. Don't. I'm coming to you.
It's going to be a 45-minute panel of just all screaming bar. Just over there. While she does that, though, thank you guys so much for coming. This is, the history of Batman. Basically, what we're going to do is just talk about Batman. And we also love to hear from you guys what your favorite stories are. We're going to talk about the movies, the comic books, child labor laws, perhaps, who knows, and see what happens. It goes from there. I am Matt. I run a podcast called Hotchkiss News, where we talk comic books, movies, TV shows. We've had Jeff Johns on a lot. We've kind of formed a friendship with him and Ghost Machine. Jason Fabok, who's also helped out with Three Jokers, for example. Patton Oswalt's come through, so we typically just get to chat to a lot of really cool people, go to a lot of Comic-Cons, and do a lot of fun stuff. And typically, with that, we do a beer of the week. Not always, though, because sometimes we wake up at 7 in the morning, and I don't feel like getting recorded and having a beer at 7. So, of course, we're going to have coffee those mornings. But we also do Nerd Initiative, where I am the assistant editor. Each and every week, we are there reviewing your favorite comic books. DC on Tuesdays, Wednesday at 9 a.m. kicks off with Marvel, Image, Boom, all of those good comic books that are out there right now, because there are so many comic books out there right now that everybody should be reading. And then, Megan, why don't you go ahead and let them know about yourself?
Hi, I am Megan. I am with the Vigilante Vibes podcast. We're a non-toxic Marvel podcast where you have the fun of the fandom without the racism, transphobia, and all that disgusting stuff that comes with it. So, available on all listening platforms. I'm also with Nerd Initiative. We, like he said, review comics, not just the big mainstream Marvel, DC, the big players, but the little ones too. So you can find us everywhere.
Yeah, nerdinitiative.com is going to be the easiest way for that. But we're here to talk Batman. A lot of you guys probably here because you like Batman. I know myself, Batman is kind of what kickstarted my superhero love when I was a kid. Like most kids, for some reason, we were drawn to Batman. I don't know, maybe because mom said I eat broccoli and I wish my parents disappeared and I became a superhero. I don't know. But for whatever reason, Batman, it was really the Schumacher films for me that kind of drew me into Batman, which I'm going to touch on later because I have a lot to say about those. And just from there, I fell into love with DC Comics. That's my first big love. Actually, Barry Allen, The Flash, is like my all-time favorite superhero. I am just a diehard Flash fan. Thank you. I see one man in there. We got representing. Yes.
I'm on the Wally West guy.
Hey, you know what? But that's perfect because there's room for more. I have Barry Allen and Wally West. You know what? They're both in their own right. And Megan, what was your first introduction into Batman?
The animated series.
Ooh.
Anybody out there like the animated series? Yes. You got the collection? The complete thing, man. When I tell you, like, those got me through some really tough times, just playing repeat. Hearing Kevin Conroy's voice, for whatever reason, was like the most soothing thing to me. Man. Do you have a favorite episode?
My favorite probably Hard Life.
Oh, yes. Anything with Mr. Freeze. That's so good.
They expanded his character.
Yes, they definitely did. And man, Mr. Freeze is one of my favorite villains. But I'll let you continue. I kind of cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh, I got overexcited thinking about the animated series, and I forgot everything I was going to say. So I'm definitely going home to rewatch that.
Let's dive into Batman. Does anybody know what year Batman actually first debuted? Back there in the yellow or white or whatever you want the glasses. I see you in the back. You raise your hand. 1939. You know what? Just for that, come up here and grab a comic book. Yes, 1939. So Batman actually debuted in Detective Comics issue 27 in 1939. They created this just because of the fact that like Superman has such a popularity. They wanted to have somebody else come out there, and so they kind of crafted Batman. And now originally Batman was, of course, by Bill Finger and Bob Kane, who these two wonderful gentlemen kind of crafted Batman. Bob Kane kind of had his faults, right? For the longest time, he didn't really give Bill Finger his due justice. It wasn't until, I think it was like 2015 or something like that, that he actually started to be renowned. And what's such a travesty about that is this is actually Bob Kane's first idea of Batman. Batman didn't have the cowl. Batman didn't have the gloves. He didn't have all the fancy utility belt stuff that we all think of when we see Batman. What he had was these really stiff, creepy wings. He had a domino mask. He had the blondest of hair. And then, of course, a red suit. which to me, I don't know how you feel about the red suit.
It's kind of like they gave up on it and said, just make Robin look like that.
I mean, what if we did Superman, but we put a domino mask and wings on it? Yeah, no, that's good. Write that down. That's kind of like the feeling we got. Like the red, yeah, we like that a lot. Superman's popular. People like red because what do? We always take away like the worst possible things from it. I did see people walk in. If you just walked in and you haven't got yourself a card, we are giving away drawing for comics here at the end. So if you want to come grab one, by all means, come grab one. Or Micah, can I enlist your help real quick to pass one out? That's right. We have one friend in the city of Richmond here. But yes, this was the original, and it wasn't until Bill Finger was like, what if we kind of changed his look up? Bill Finger was like, what if we gave him gloves? What if instead of the rope, we kind of give him these wings, this cape, to kind of stiffly let him glide from place to place and remove the domino mask, and let's put this cowl on him. And so, of course, Batman had the purple gloves that we first saw. This is kind of his first look. He's kind of menacing, kind of not, but that was like his first big look.
It's a look. I like it.
I mean, it's a vibe if you're asking me, for sure. And so this is kind of like Batman became popular. In the beginning, Batman also killed. I know there's a big contention about Batman. He used a gun at one point. It was his initial kind of comic book run before they were like, all right, Batman's kind of becoming popular. We kind of should go away from the murders to discussing Batman. And the no-kill rule didn't come into place until 1940, actually. What fun facts does Megan have for us?
I have fun facts for you. So, did you know that the first person that made a Batman movie was not these people? It was actually Andy Warhol. He made a Batman movie, but he didn't own the rights to Batman's name, so no one ever saw it except if you took one of his art classes. There you go.
All right, I actually didn't know that. Did not know that myself. So one of the big reasons between the contention between Bob Kane and Bill Finger, in case anybody didn't know as well, was the fact that there came a rise in popularity for Batman. They actually signed away the rights to the character. Now, Bob Kane chose to sign away the rights to the character in order to get a byline in the comics. So for the longest time, they didn't actually have the whole, story written by artist, letterer, all that stuff in comic books. No, it was just created by Bob Kane up until about the 60s, until they finally decided to, hey, this is artist so-and-so, this is written by so-and-so, and so it's just Bob Kane. Meanwhile, Bill Finger actually signed his rights away just to have money. He would get residue. And residuals, not residue, right? Residuals. Residue is that nasty stuff on your car from pollen. But yes, he signed his away for the residuals. And so the big point of contention was Bob Kane was kind of known for creating Batman, but Bill Finger crafted all of these incredible stories. He made the Batman that we kind of know and love today. He even created Robin, because there was a point in issue number 38 from Detective Comics that they were basically like, Batman needs a Watson. They need a Watson to the Sherlock. Who are we going to do this? Of course, we're going to get like a 10-year-old kid from just acrobatics, and we're going to place a 10-year-old kid on the streets, because who doesn't love this? It's the 40s, man. Children could go out there and work in factories, so why couldn't they go out there and fight crime, apparently?
Children didn't matter then. It was before they were special.
Kids were just there, so if he's not out there, Batman was already rich. He didn't need him to go out there and work, so like, come out here and fight crime, I guess. Not really sure. But additionally to that, there was a whole backstory that came out, and the reason why Bruce Wayne's name was chosen was because, again, Bill Finger, the guy who was the unsung hero for so long, decided that, hey, I like Robert the Bruce. Sir Robert the Bruce, who was a Scottish patriot. He kind of stands for whatever it is at the time Bill Finger loved about him, and he's like, that's going to be the name. He's going to be like this playboy, because Robert the Bruce was kind of like this playboy, carefree attitude over there, the Scottish patriot. And that was actually the reason why Bruce Wayne came about, was this name was chosen from some Scottish guy, and he just became rich, carefree, and then his backstory wasn't even explained for a while until issue number 33, which is Bill Finger. Once again, take a drink every time you hear the word Bill Finger, right? It's, hey, he needs a backstory. So this whole tragic backstory of Bruce Wayne as a kid goes out, and he's with his parents, and he leaves the theater, and they didn't actually have a name for the killer at the time. Boom, his parents are dead. We've seen it 75 times. How many times do you have to watch the pearls drop in a movie? I don't know at this point, unless we're talking to whatever director's taking on next. Let's find out.
They had it coming.
I mean, don't take the back alleyways.
Why would you take the back alley with your kid? Okay, like, it was dark. I'm just saying, that's bad
I
parenting.
get if you have 2 kids, because then you gotta back up.
Yeah, right? Just irresponsible. But I have another fact for you Marvel fans. Anyone here a Marvel fan? All right.
Just a couple people.
I like you all. So, Batman and Wolverine actually merged together. A Marvel DC comic book
I'll see the
crossover
meat.
in 1996 saw Batman merge with Wolverine, creating a new character named Darkclaw. His real name, Logan Wayne.
Does anybody know the first 2 villains that appeared in a Batman comic book? No, actually.
I saw a hand.
I saw a hand in the back.
Oh, there's a hand in the front.
Lamar Jackson.
Joe Tilton?
No, it was not.
Go ahead.
Was one of them the Riddler?
No. Guys, he's in every Batman movie. He has a solo movie. Joker, yes. Joker and there's one other.
Big one. I know there was an old version of Clayface, wasn't that?
No.
Two-Face?
There's a hand in the back with like a black sweater. I saw it. No.
Go ahead.
Was it
Was it Two-Face?
Two-Face?
No.
It was Catwoman. Who said Catwoman? Yes. Were you holding on to us this whole time? You were just like, just go down the roads, man. I want to see how wild this can get. Where's the Condiment King? Where's Calendar Man? Like, let's see where we can get with this. I love all of like that. Those are my favorite stories. Some of the ones that really include like Batman's C-tier villains, because it's like Batman is this all menacing, badass kind of hulking man who, with any amount of prep time, can go toe to toe with Superman, and you have him fighting a guy who likes dates. Interesting. All right, and then not just that, but like he struggles against this. All right, I'm sure. I'm down. Let's see. Again, I'm all about the weird stuff. I don't know about you.
I swear, Batman villains are always cooking. Like, it doesn't matter who they
Does.
are. I like Batman, but I think the best thing about Batman is his villains. They're all wildly different. They always, even each one that's involved, that creates an entirely different storyline that's completely unique from the other. I think that's kind of cool.
So let me tell you this, because this has been a big point of arguments over the years. Who has the better rogues? Is it Batman or Spider-Man? Well, we're on a Batman panel. You better say Batman. Goodness.
Whoever said Spider-Man, I get you.
Give me that card back. You're not going to comment. So as we kind of talked about, it was Batman, it was Catwoman, or Joker and Catwoman. They kind of were the first 2 villains that were introduced in all of these comics. And Robin's first, he just gave this man, there's something about the domino mask they just Bob Kane could not let go of. And from that point, there was a whole point in the 50s. We move into the 50s now. It's kind of a weird time. I guess people are kind of becoming conscious about psychology. You know, World War II has ended, the Korean War kind of, you know, we're focusing on the brain. There's actually a gentleman by the name of Frederick Worthing who did this entire book in 1954, and his whole thing was saying that kids were too influenced by Batman. They were just too hung up in Batman, and actually he made another argument that Batman and Robin were actually lovers at a point, which I don't know where that came from. Like, he adopted him. He's his son, first of all. But what's that?
The tights.
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with wearing tights?
Hey, I'm wearing them right now.
Well, it's the way they wear them.
They
Hey,
wear the
you know
underwear
what?
on the outside.
I wish I was that
Yeah.
confident.
Yeah. I do too. I strive to that confidence.
I just imagine walking around. Man, my wife yells at me if I do it, but you know, whatever, fine. But yes, he created this whole book, and at that point, Batman's popularity started to decline. Now, in Superman issue number 76, it's the very first time that Batman and Superman end up meeting each other, and coincidentally enough, it's the first time they find out each other's secret identity. Up to this point, there was never Batman crossovers, despite the fact that they were very closely ripped off from each other, not ripped off from each other, but they were closely related. They're the 2 most popular superheroes. And then, as we move into the 60s, Batman actually began to decline. His popularity declined. For whatever reason, people were just kind of done with Batman at this point. He was a cornerstone for 20 years or so, and now his popularity started to decline until Adam West. Adam West saves the day in Campy Batman. He's got the shark repellents. He's got it all. The sales were so bad in '64, they were thinking about killing Batman altogether. But in 1966, we get Adam West coming in, Burt Ward kind of come to save the day. We get Cesar Romero as Joker, of course. We get the Riddler. We get all of the campiness. And for whatever reason, people really latched onto that. And they were just sucked in immediately. And Batman's popularity rose once more. Fun fact,
I
Ray.
have more fun facts for you people. Batman could have been a Yellow Lantern. The Yellow Lanterns of the Sinestro Corps are powered by fear. So when a ring attempted to choose the best person on Earth when it comes to instilling fear, it chose Batman.
It does. Has anybody read that?
Yeah.
Yes. How do you feel about that? How do you guys feel about the idea of Batman becoming a lantern?
Scarecrow should have got it.
Scarecrow? I haven't heard that. Oh, do you have a reason? Like,
He got it twice in Green Lantern 2006 and The Blackest Night, but each time within an issue, he got it ripped away again. I mean, I want to see like a decent multiple issue arc.
She's feisty.
ooh, I like this. I like this. Who said Scarecrow? That was you? Okay, I thought someone was behind you. I'm so sorry. I see a hand in the back. It was like right behind you in the black hoodie.
Yeah, if you guys talk, you can stand
You know
up.
what? You guys can come up here. I will come to you if you want to come up here. You can.
How far is
I will.
your
Take the mic. I'll take the mic right over to you. If you want to come up here, let us know your thoughts, please. I want to know. Oh, my man's gonna cook. Oh, is he leaving? He was like, "Give me the microphone." You have your hand up. Come on up here, man. I'll hear what you have to say. Or you can say right there. What do you have to say?
I wanted to point out that that wasn't the first television adaptation of Batman. The first adaptation of Batman was actually black and white serial in 1940s called Batman, and it came out. They actually had like an actor playing him, but it was even worse and cheesier than what you see in the
I heard it
1960s.
was super bad and super racist.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
because one of the main characters was like this Japanese guy.
Yeah.
And it was so
part.
racist because of the fact that we were at war with
Yeah.
Japan at the time. So
Yes.
Time was rough.
My friend with the hat in the back and the black sweatshirt. I know you had something. What'd you have?
Yeah, he was a Black Lantern briefly. Like, he had just died in the beginning because the Black Knight started immediately after, I think, the Crisis against the Monitor. So that man died at the end of that, and then they brought him back, and they thought, oh my God.
She's our new co-host.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, you're amazing. You know what? Just for answering all these, come up here and get a comic book. Yes, come up here and grab one. You're amazing. Take my seat while you're at it. What do you got?
I saw her
I just
earlier.
want to
She
say,
was
I don't think the lantern connection really works, because the whole point of Batman is a charade. Batman is a construction that Bruce Wayne creates to instill fear in others, but it's a very, very carefully and well orchestrated act, if you will. And so in terms of instilling fear, Bruce Wayne isn't walking around with some sort of like embodiment of fear within himself. He is physically manifesting himself in such a way as to basically instill fear through the creation of a chimera.
I see that. I've always thought of it like Bruce Wayne is the mask, right? Like Batman is the true persona, because why would you pay to go to therapy when you can just beat up criminals every night? That's what I would personally do, but you know, I guess I gotta go to therapy or something like that instead. But I've always thought about he even mentions it a lot in the movies. It's Bruce Wayne, this is like just a mask. You know, Batman Begins, he kind of tells Katie Holmes there, Rachel, he's like, that is just a mask. And she's like, no, this is your mask. And I think that's like really the first time that I saw it in cinema of them kind of talk about that. Do you want to come and ask questions? What do you got?
There's also an Elseworlds story back in the 1990s of where Batman became Green Lantern. I'm not sure if y'all saw it, but it's one of them.
It is. So there are many instances of
I'm
criminal
about to bring it up, but you know,
No, you're totally
No,
fine.
you're good.
That's awesome. What'd you have? Batman versus Dracula? Yes.
Red Rain, that was.
I love the stories where Batman fights like random characters. Like one thing that the 90s did really well, especially in comic books, is they were not afraid to cross over with the weird stuff. Batman fought Spawn. Batman teamed up with Spawn. Batman fought Dracula. Batman fought, the Marvel universe. It was like,
Ninja Turtles.
and then
Yes,
TMNT.
that was like 5 years ago.
Yes. Freddie Williams absolutely crushed that one, and those are my favorite kind of. Again, I like the weird kind of goofy stuff. speaking of goofy stuff, the 66 Batman series only lasted till 68, in which it died again because the popularity once again kind of fell. As it does for some, which is weird because you look at comic books today, and Batman's the #1 seller for DC Comics. What do you have?
Another reason why it ended was because the budget was great. It was constantly surpassing budget because it was like
Stop
$5.
spending so much money on shark repellent.
Stop getting captured every episode.
It's like he carried bombs on rooftops and threw them off. No wonder they kept blowing buildings up. Goodness. Yes, sir, in the back.
I also remember hearing about like a man where Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman,
I'm not gonna lie, I heard like half of that. I gotta play like I'm deaf, otherwise my wife's gonna get mad. She thinks my hearing's really good, and I'm just like, I don't hear you, what? And then next thing I'm getting, she's like, I know that it's not true at all. But did anybody hear what he said? I'm sorry.
So in a comic, there is a window where Wonder Woman has Superman and Batman go onto the last one.
Yes.
And Batman says, I'm Batman, and she asks him, like,
That's right. That's right. I do remember that specifically. That is a good one. I do remember that. That was a good one. Did you ever read that one?
I don't know. At some point, it all kind of blends together. And you're like, I did read that. Oh my god.
In an episode of Batman Beyond, one of the things I thought was really cool was they had implanted in old man Bruce Wayne this thing, and for a while he thought it was voices talking to him, and that he was losing his mind. But later, the thing that tipped him off that he wasn't is that the voice kept calling him Bruce. And he later revealed it again as, I never called myself that, I called myself Batman.
Yes. That series was, oh my god, that series was so good. The fact that we haven't had like a live action Batman Beyond yet. We were going to, did you guys see that? We were supposed to, they pitched it. And basically the DC executives were like, nobody wants this.
okay.
I'm telling you, who you talking to? Like, being a DC fan is hard. It is hard out here, man. I am tired. I am so tired. Yes, sir.
Do you remember the series Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusade?
I don't remember that one.
It was a short series, but basically it really kind of delves into and answers the question: is Bruce or is he Batman? Because he's having a dream while he's compared to a coma or whatever, and his mother is addressing him as Bruce while he's Batman. If whatever happened to the Cape Crusader, look it up.
Was that a 90s one?
I don't remember the time frame. If it was late 80s.
2000s? Perfect. I will. That, yes.
And
This,
mostly Alfred was like the real Alfred was like a Joker and
I love. Did you know, actually, speaking of Alfred, that they killed him in the 50s? They brought in Aunt Harriet. They're like, Alfred's gotta go. Let's bring in like his evil twin aunt. And then Aunt Harriet came on board for a little while. And that's actually the time that they gave us Batgirl, Ace the Bat-Hound, and Batmite for whatever reason. Until again the 60s is when they kind of brought him back. And in that time, Dennis O'Neil and Neil Adams decided to go back to the gritty Batman. Because at the end of the day, all roads lead back to just brooding emo Batman, which maybe that's why I liked him so much, man. I have just always loved emo everything. Like emo night, I'm there. I'm brooding in my room. What you got?
I just want to say, personally, Batman anime series definitely got me into that. But Batman Beyond, as they said, it does not get enough love.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
I just want to know what is your thoughts on the other people who have been Batman, like Terry, of course, is my favorite, other than Bruce Wayne. I like the fact that he's kind of like if Spider-Man or Batman.
Yeah.
What do you think about the other people who have done the mantle?
Well, obviously, Azrael was the best Batman ever. No, I'm just kidding. He was a murderous psychopath.
Yeah, he
But
was.
I honestly, I love those kind of stories. So for a while, Dick Grayson obviously took it up for a bit, which was, I thought, kind of refreshing because how many times have we seen a Batman story and he passes it off to, again, in Nightfall, Dick doesn't get to become Batman. Bruce never lets him for one reason or another. And so the times that he actually trusts him enough, because fundamentally, that's always my favorite one. Their relationship is my favorite because he is his son. He protects him in a roundabout, weird way. Yeah, I'm gonna bring you out to fight the Joker every single night of our lives. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna protect you, and I don't want you to take on Batman because it's too dangerous. It doesn't really make sense there. And then there's Terry, and then for a while in the comic books in the late 2010s, we saw Commissioner Gordon take on Bat Robot, which was a choice in its own right. But it's one that like it made sense. I was like following for a little bit where they were going with that storyline, but then it just kind of lost me. Like I feel like it lost a lot of us in that whole entire run. What did you think about people taking up the Batman until that's not Bruce?
I'm like you. I like the weird stuff. So I liked Terry. I liked Dick Grayson the most, but Gordon, I don't know why, it just kind of did my soul good. It's kind of like when you see your friend and you have a friend and they become friends with another friend and then they just, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but
Yeah, when
like
when
it shouldn't
two
happen,
groups
but
meet
it does.
together and the homies all get together, and you're like, oh my god, like we can all hang out together now. In a way.
I don't know if I'm saying it right.
I got you. I think one of those things is Commissioner Gordon and Batman's relationship. One of the cool things, there's a story out right now. It just came out, Dan Jurgens wrote it, it's Batman, and essentially Alfred doesn't exist, and so they're exploring a world where Bruce Wayne and Commissioner Gordon are actually really good friends. It's 1939. That's another really, really good storyline. And then going back to Batman, we have Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, which was like the first real comic book that I remember purchasing. Do you have your thoughts on this? I heard the deep sighs. Is that a good deep? What is it?
I love it.
I love it. So does anybody watch the 2-part animated movie at all?
Yeah.
Yes. Annual rewatch, annual reread, annual rewatch. It's very like the language in it didn't age the best because like listen here, Spud. Like Spud don't like all those things is very much weird, but something about old brick house Bruce Wayne still battling. You get in that mud fight with the mutant leader, and it's like, this is Batman right here. He's using his brains. Like that's that stuff I love. He is just going toe to toe. He knows he's past his prime. I love Carrie Kelly too. She's very much like this innocent, like I want to help at all costs. And there's that really sweet moment on the Bat tank that's obviously firing non-lethal rubber bullets. And he's just like, no, Alfred, like she's coming with me. And it's like this beautiful moment. And again, going back to the whole Bruce Wayne is Batman thing, and he goes and confronts the Bat. And he's like, I'm not done with you yet. Like it's some of the most metal stuff I had just in comic books, and it got me in. And now all this dark grittiness actually gave way to Batman the Animated Series and Michael Keaton's Batman, and gave us these two beautiful human beings. Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill are. Did you guys know we're getting one more Kevin Conroy as Batman in Final Crisis Part 2, the animated movie? There's two?
Yeah, apparently he's gonna be in the voice Batman and Cape Crusader.
He's gonna be in Cape Crusader too. I knew about the Final Crisis Part 2.
Yeah, I heard he was gonna voice Batman and the Cape Crusader animated series.
Son of a gun, I'm back in. I'm back in. No, it's because Mark Hamill's always said he's not gonna voice Joker without Kevin Conroy there. And those two, man, like again, a lot of us grew up with it. That was your introduction. How do you feel about these two? Like, what hearing their voices, seeing them, what's it mean to you?
It just kind of takes you back. I guess we all run a certain way on nostalgia. So when nostalgia hits you just right, you're just back where you need to be. Mark Hamill, his voice, no matter what else he's voicing in the world, he's
Joker, man.
he's Joker to me. It doesn't matter what else he's doing.
And you also gave us Harley Quinn in the animated series. I see you with your hand up. Yes, sir.
Anytime I read the comics, that's the voice I hear in my head when I'm reading.
Yes.
Him and the Joker is all I hear if I'm reading the comics.
You guys do? Anybody else the same thing?
My biggest draw for Batman, like as far as being fanboy and everything, was 1989 when Tim Burton's Batman came out. That's when I really kind of got into it.
Dude, Michael Keaton in that whole scene where he's like, you know, with Joker in the house, and he's Bruce Wayne, but even Joker takes a step back. He's like, whoa, dude, you're kind of crazy, right? All right, you want to dance? Like, let's get nuts. And he's just like, all right, man, chill. Like, it's just a joke, man. It's just a prank. I'm sorry. I'm the Joker. This is my job. No, that movie, 1989, obviously, that Batman, and then 1992's Batman Returns. Like, as a kid, you know, I was a 90s baby. Those movies, they had to, like, not make Batman Returns too dark because they needed to sell McDonald's toys. But again, it's like Danny DeVito in a spandex suit throwing up on himself. I'm like, how are we selling these toys? I'm a little confused. Like, it was just, the 90s were a wild time. They gave us, in comic books before, because I gotta talk about the movies. We got some really good comic books. In 1988, Jason Todd was voted off the island of Batman. They killed Jason Todd in 1988 by a vote counter. There was 28 votes that passed for yes. So democracy reigned free in 1988 at least. Jason Todd was gone until they brought him back in the 2000s, was Under the Hood. Some really good stories. We got Jeff Loeb came on the scene with Long Halloween, Nightfall, and then Scott Snyder. Yes, you clap away. Let us know. Long Halloween, did you guys watch the animated movie of that one too? Yeah, I liked it a lot, man. Big fan of Dean Winchester as Batman voicing, and I kind of really hope Jensen Ackles plays Batman, and I know my co-host Lauren, who's not here, is a massive Jensen Ackles fan. Shout out to her. She would, that's for, this Pokemon Smash Pass. But the Court of Owls is probably one of my favorite stories as well, with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. I went away from comics for a little bit, just because I feel like Grant Morrison's 2006 on run, like he was doing really great things. But I was a teenager, so I was just off doing stupid stuff, watching sports. But Scott Snyder why did I root for the Packers? I don't know. Anyways, Scott Snyder really brought me back in. I was like, him and Greg Capullo, they redesigned the bat symbol. They brought me back in Court of Owls. And then one last thing I want to talk about is Batman City of Madness by Christian Ward. They bring back the Court of Owls. That's one you absolutely have to read. It's the Gotham, under Gotham essentially, but if Batman was on shrooms the whole time. Because it's psychedelic. Christian Ward, if you're familiar with any of his artwork, is insane. And the Court of Owls has to work with Bruce Wayne and Batman, and they essentially have to fight the evil owl version of Batman. So it's only 3 issues, it's all out now. I highly recommend that. But man, let's talk about the movies for a little bit. We got some time to talk about the movies. Everybody says Michael Keaton is a Batman. Yes, I see your hand up. What's up? Yes.
I think it was a funny scene because it was like Batman. Joker managed to kill Batman, so he gets lost and doesn't remember what to do with his life, so he keeps on.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. The Joker never actually wants to kill Batman. Like, and they don't want to kill each other. That's why Batman puts him back in the most non-max security prison on planet Earth. He's like, I'm gonna leave the key here. Now don't you go sneaking away on me. I might have to come after you. And Joker's like, oh gosh, if only this gun had real bullets. You would be so toast, Batman.
I think it's just Batman gaslighting Joker because he wants to go back to the first comic where he actually killed the Joker.
Ooh.
And he's like, I just want to revisit that.
There was a time period where I killed you, just so you know. He's like, if I wanted to, I could. And he actually, one of the really cool things is killing Joke. They kind of leave that to interpretation, right? There's that panel at the very end where it's raining and he chokes out Joker.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just hugging him really hard around his neck. Just, hey, buddy, what's up? But that's a really beautiful panel as well, I found. What do you have? You think he killed the Joker? Yeah, that's how I took it personally.
I think he did because a lot of the other Batman villains either are moral crusader like Ra's al Ghul or Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
And the other ones are just a result of the problem, but the Joker embodies the problem.
Yeah, Joker is the problem with Gotham. Joker is like everything that is wrong, but also he's everything that's wrong with Batman too, right? They point that out quite a lot. Joker is everything that is morally wrong with Batman. So you think you are so high and mighty because you won't kill, but I'm out here just on a rampage killing everybody, man. How many people are you going to indirectly kill before you kill me? You see your hand up again. What's up?
But there's another thing I found interesting about the comics. Whenever Batman goes to like the place where all the knowledge of the universe is gathered and finds that there's actually 3
Yes, I do remember that. That was a weird one, along with kind of like the 3 Joker storyline. There's multiple Jokers, and then there's that time he sits in that chair, and it's like because you're looking, this is the moment you're gonna find out Joker's identity, and he doesn't have it. It's like that's the point. Like I don't want Joker to ever have an identity, personally. And one thing I loved about '89 is we got to see these different interpretations. So we got Jack Nicholson as Joker, Heath Ledger as Joker. We just absolutely don't It's a shame they never did anything with the Joker after that, especially with Jared Leto. Like, I'm just so bummed out that there was never another Joker interpretation after that. But I personally love the Schumacher films of the 90s, man. I'm gonna tell you straight up, these are my comfort films again. Yeah, see, there's something like the whole sequence where 45-year-old Chris O'Donnell is climbing up this mountain to go after Two-Face and Riddler. He's like, holy rusted metal, Batman. Batman just turns around and goes, huh? And it's just like, what? It's the most out-of-character thing on earth. And he goes, holy rusted metal. And he's just like, oh. And it's just the most, like, what is this entire, like, what are the dialogue in this? What are we doing?
See, that I'm glad that you brought up the Schumacher films, because to be honest, like, they're kind of my least favorite Batmans because of the
Get
fact,
out.
just because of the fact that they went into a different direction to try to make it more family friendly, but they made it way too campy and way too cheesy.
Oh, it was outrageous.
I like that aspect of it, like how like all of Gotham was like very like exaggerated.
There's that scene where Commissioner Gordon's like that bumbling idiot. And it's when, Edward Nygma had thrown the dude out the window and he walks up and he's like, suicide. Definitely suicide. You're like, what? How can we, what? What detective work are we doing here, Gotham?
Have you seen the original full script of Batman Forever?
I have. I've not read it all, but I know the Schumacher cut is like one of those things that's making the moves out there. Like there's a big, it's screened, like Kevin Smith screened it, and then there's some other screenings that people have gone to. They need to, man. I know in a day and age where like we're getting a cut for everybody's 6-hour films that they could have just, if you just made a good movie the first time, right? I mean, we're gonna get to one of those. We have one in the back. Yes.
I just want to say, Batman and Robin, Batman.
Listen, I rock with that all day, man. Like, again, I'm unapologetic. There's something about Coolio in the underbellies of Gotham. Again, it's like a nightclub, and then like Alicia Silverstone gets involved, and just. There's so much just goofy weirdness, and Alfred's just with his big old bushy eyebrows over here, just absolutely useless to what we're used to. And then speaking kind of like different movies, right? We kind of move into a different decade. Christian Bale, again, like The Dark Knight is my all-time favorite movie. I will never have a theater experience like it ever again. 2008, midnight release, you're waiting for hours with your friends to go way back when you couldn't reserve your movie ticket. And man, it was just incredible. Opening IMAX shot of Heath Ledger. Where are we on the Batman movies for you?
I think Christian Bale was one of my favorites, and then it's a hot take, but I love Madison.
Yes, it's a hot take. Robert Pattinson, amazing. That movie was so good.
How did you feel when you saw Robert, because there's so many people, right, were giving him shit, right? Oh, he can't do the bat, he can never do justice. And then you see him on the screen, and you're like, whoa, he did something so different, and I kind of like it, but I'm scared to like it.
Well, he was like, what I loved about this movie is they were detective focused, right?
Yeah.
You saw him really as a detective. We hadn't seen that, they did in Christian Bale's Batman v Superman, and kind of like Zack Snyder. Like, I loved Ben Affleck as Batman. I wish we had gotten more of him. Regardless of how you feel about the movies, I'm gonna be honest, I like Batman v Superman. Like, I'm a fan of that movie. I wish we had gotten more, but like bringing it back to this more grounded, just take of Robert Pattinson doing detective work, like that was so dang cool. And you had your hand up.
Oh yes. So when it finally got back to the Christian Bale movies in like 2004, I felt like that the pendulum was kind of swinging and more to the darker, serious tone of Batman, and we went away from the Schumacher kind of campy, silly stuff, and we got much more.
Those movies killed Batman. That's why there was nothing about Batman for a while. Like they literally blamed like the death of Batman, so to speak, in Hollywood was because of what Joel Schumacher did. Again, people just couldn't have fun, I guess. I don't know. I love to have fun. You love it. Well, you see my movie taste. It's like, this movie's awesome. You're like, what is wrong with you? I unapologetically love these movies. I saw you at your hand up too.
I did. I just want to say what I really liked about Pattinson's film was it was clumsy and it was meant to be that way. It was supposed to be that way, right? So it's year zero. You could see like he wasn't landing his jumps right. Yeah. He was like clumsy, like his belt was all messed up. Like,
he was getting.
And I loved that. That was so good. That was so true. And I felt pretty bad because I think a lot of people also expect like, oh, it's a Batman film. It should be refined. Why is it so clunky and clumsy? That's the whole point. It's
she's spitting.
He's trying.
She is absolutely,
And I really
yes.
love that. I know that's so weird.
100% agree.
I
1000% agree. Like that's Batman. Like he's year one Batman. He doesn't have all the tools
Yeah.
yet. Like he's figuring it out. Like that's the point. He's gonna get beat up. He's got like this heavy armor, and also it gave us like the best car chase scene in any movie sequence ever. Like amazing. And Colin Farrell again, just absolutely incredible. I saw you with your hand up again. What's up, man?
Yeah, so I was gonna say like how Robert Pattinson got a lot of pain for it. Like, but like Michael Keaton also was like why is he Batman?
Yeah.
Like Bill just and it was a Renaissance Batman. And I feel like that's kind of weird with the Batman. And I feel like we're gonna be getting a lot more detective stories like probably in the Red and Gold coming out.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you know this, but it's hard to see it now because of what happened. People didn't want Spider-Man to be the Joker. They thought he was.
Yeah, I remember that discourse. Everybody was like, "Why is Heath Ledger the Joker?" The guy from, The Knight's Tale. I was like, first of all, I love that movie. Second of all, his why am I forgetting the name? He was in that rom-com. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I also love
10
that.
Things I Hate About
Yes, 10 Things I Hate About You. Like he was great in that movie too, man. Like he's a killer actor. Like
But I wouldn't see him as the Joker until then.
I mean, you're right, and I think that right there is a good point. Because of the hate that he was getting and how he blew everybody's perception of the Joker, I think that's why with Robert Pattinson, I was like, sure, why not? Let's see what happens. I've learned my lesson now at this point, especially with Marvel castings.
Ben Affleck got a lot of shit too.
Yeah.
But they all do if it's something that's you're not used to. Like,
Well, we as fans have like this preconceived, like this is who should do it. Like this is our person.
yeah, because we know best.
Yeah, obviously we're all casting directors, and we're CGI effects specialists. I did see you in the back with your hand up.
I'm just curious what your opinion is on the Batman from the new Flash movie.
See, I didn't, a baby catching aside in the Flash movie. If you haven't seen it, it's something. He puts one in a microwave like a burrito. So
He doesn't cook it though.
I mean, it's not plugged in, thank God.
Yeah,
But
just so we're clear.
I didn't mind. So, are you talking about the end credit scene there when Ezra turns around and it's that Batman?
So all of the Batman.
All of Batman. So I didn't have a problem. I knew this was kind of the end of the DCU, right? We kind of knew it. It had a lot of problems. I'm ready to reset. So I was like, again, it's Flash. Let's get as weird as we can get. Again, as a massive Flash fan, it sucked that that's the Flash movie we got. I don't hate it. I've just not gone out of my way to watch it again. It was great to see Michael Keaton back. It was so heartwarming, especially the spaghetti theory and how unhinged he kind of was. That was really cool to see. And then seeing him back in the Batplane and doing his Batman stuff, that was awesome. But how did you feel?
It was a movie.
All the movies I've seen.
It certainly was one of them. It came out that year.
You have your hand up, yes, sir.
Yeah, so when I was rewatching Flash a couple months ago, and
Brave.
I love that. So when Michael Keaton took a pot at Barry Allen,
Yes.
or Ezra, it mirrored Ben Affleck throwing.
Yeah, with the batarang.
Which I saw that and I'm like, no way, I love this, and I thought it was a great homage to it.
Agreed. Lamar Jackson, you have your hand up too.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm calling Lamar Jackson.
Talk just a little bit about the Heath Ledger Joker. I know a lot of people may not have liked it, but to me personally, that felt like the most accurate portrayal of the Joker because, like he kept it low key, but at the same time, he's just a complete psychopath. Who just wants to watch the world burn.
Do you want to see a trick? He pulls out the pencil. Like that whole thing was sick.
Yeah.
It was awesome. As we wrap up, because it's about that time, you guys have been awesome. Two things. First, we're going to give away some free comics. Secondly, I would love to get a picture with every single person here because you guys have made this probably one of the better panels that I've ever done. And I can't thank you guys enough. So first things first, let's hand out. We have 4 comic books here. We're going to start with, on the back of your card, there's a number. And we're going to start with the issue number that Batman first debuted in, which is 27.
Does everyone have a card?
Oh, 27?
Yes, 27, Green Lantern. Somebody, if you didn't get a card, you raise your hand. Come up here real quick and grab a card. Oh God, I hope that we have enough. It's okay. You know what?
Okay, we only have 2 in there.
It's okay. You know what? We got this.
All right.
53. No. Go ahead, give it out because we'll give stickers out. Don't worry, you're good.
We have stickers too. Yeah, sure, first.
So there you go. Pick one. Yeah.
One? Okay.
No, you're good. If you grab a sticker,
Here. They're really cute stickers. Okay, so pick, you can pick all three.
it'll
if
be
you like.
53.
For
54. All right, Megan, which is the next number you want?
Last night we did this and I picked every number that didn't work. Like 4 numbers in a row. So let's go 11.
Hey. All right, let's go to. Let's go to number 2. Look, you did it. Yes. All right, we have one more comic to give out. I'm gonna go ahead and let's pick number 52. Is there a 52? No? All right, what about number 50? There you go, number 50. Now for everybody else, let's get in here, let's take a quick picture. You guys can find us. We have stickers up here for everybody to take. To those who didn't card, I apologize, but I seriously thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight and ending Saturday at Galaxy Con Richmond.
Thank you. Yeah, this is easily the best one.
The best. Stand up, let's get up in this together. Please. You don't have to if you don't want to, of course. But I totally should. It's gonna be everywhere.
I think just stand right there. Okay. Everybody? No, that's not good.
Want to join? Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1.
Feel free to have stickers, guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your time.
I think you'll be okay. You gonna grab some stickers? Fun.
Thank you so much.